Hello and welcome. Today we are out here in the middle of, kind of nowhere, with the trains going, and I got my replacement today, and I wanted to do this right. So, right here what I've got is an Exo Ranger Plus, specifically Exo Drones X7 Ranger. Long story short, I've gone through a couple of these. First one I want to say was interference. I was right near a radio tower, and unfortunately, the drone decided that it would be independent and go about its own ways. I have not seen it for a year. I don't know where it went. I was unable to track it, and ever since then, let's see here, obstacle avoidance, and our tile as a secondary backup. I've put Velcro on this one. The Velcro should still be good. Doesn't give you a whole lot of surface area. I mean, really, even if a branch was to hit it. I believe this Velcro has about 30 pounds of force. So that should definitely stay on there pretty well. Let's see here, we got the battery plugged in, and we've got our camera off. And one last thing here. This is the part I don't like about these Rangers. They are really good drones, if you're not stupid about it. But I can't get my damn fingernails in to pop this cover off. So if you see here, get that out, get that cover off, that's where we place our obstacle avoidance here. Make sure not to get us dirty. Hopefully it's illuminated enough. I try to park under a light. But yeah, so you just plug it in like so, just like that, and should not be touching that. And so once the drone comes online, this will scan, calibrate itself, center itself. This does its own thing as well. This is a little gimbal, so it'll balance with the drone, so long as obviously you're not holding it like this or like this. And then this is your optical avoidance. So there's a little laser in here. You guys will probably be able to see. You can see it with the human eye, not as well. But once that is set up, it'll begin to scan. So if it sees something in front of it, it won't hit anything. Trees, buildings, people. So we'll see how that works. Make sure everything's good to go. Last time I used the optical avoidance with the Ranger, it wasn't much of a problem. Although, periodic moments, the sunlight does like to interfere with it. I don't really like flying at night either, because this is what happened last time with the first Exo Ranger I had. So we'll... I think they're having sex in the car. We'll take a look here. So, go ahead. You can see here, these batteries actually pop right out too, just like that. I'm not going to pull this out because I've got contact details on here in case this drone goes missing. So you can see, I did use it a bit, so we are down one cell. This is the Exo Ranger Plus. I don't remember the last one I had, if it's the same one or if they updated the firmware. This one did sound a little sad though, so you can see that laser, just by a little bit. I probably wouldn't stare it down in the face. Yeah, it shows. So we'll put her on the ground, we'll get flying. You guys will probably hear a voiceover of me, and that's just given that, unfortunately, recording this does not include a microphone. Probably for obvious reasons, all you're going to pick up is, wind. So yeah, we'll set her on the ground, we'll get flying, we'll get going. Now, starting off here, I know things look a little dark, and you will notice a bit of a quality difference. This is mainly because I was not directly recording with a drone, but instead using the onboard app recording. So you can see here the UV light coming across my face too. Once again, that's obstacle avoidance. That was actually a drone stopping right in my face, hence why I wasn't continuing any further. But yeah, so coming down here, you can kind of see it flying around. It doesn't pick up much light, and we'll see on the next run here once I can grab in a micro SD and show some things off, just how well this changes. This is meant to be a 2K video feed. It does do some pretty good quality. It's a lot better in the daylight. And as it's moving along here with me, you can see me there in the bottom. You can see, it's capturing some of that quality, a bit more in the light. I can't see a whole lot everywhere else, but just as everything moves on here, you'll begin to see that. Starting off again here, you can see it taking off, and this was more due to the battery already dying. I already used about 6 to 8 minutes of it, and the drone was not happy. That is one thing I would like to touch on as well, is that once these drones and their batteries begin to die, the battery meter on the battery itself isn't too good at estimating that, and even when it comes down to the drone itself attempting to obviously not make erratic movements because the sensors aren't getting enough power, it will attempt to try and fly home. And in doing so, it will try and fly up 15 feet, give it enough room to move around, land, do whatever it needs to before going back to the coordinates it originally took off from, which are provided to the drone by GPS. I really need to get a micro SD before this continues. Sorry. But yeah, so once it'll remember its coordinates, where it takes off from, so that in the event that you are not moving with the drone like I was, it's not going to cause problems, or it's not gonna fly off, if you will. Now, unfortunately, there's not really a way to turn that off. The only real way you could do this is via optical mode, which would use the camera below the drone in order to fly around. The only issue with this is that if the drone, or if the ground below the drone is not perfect, or it's in the dark, or whatever may be happening, essentially if the drone can't see below it, you're going to run into a lot of issues where it's trying to correct itself because it thinks it's flying in a different way than it actually is. That's originally what the problem was as well with the other X7 Ranger I had, is that it chose to not exactly coordinate with the GPS satellites above it for whatever reason, and then as a result, after I switched it to optical mode, there was some other interference going on and had flown off. But yeah, so as you can see even here, it stabilizes pretty well. It gets the job done, and I will definitely be recording some daylight shots here soon, probably some more Jeep exploring shots as well. And right below me, there you go. But yeah, so enjoy the footage. I'll probably add a few more notes here, kind of letting you guys know what's going on. But yeah, I'm just kind of recording some shots here of a place I drove to, and yeah, enjoy. Now I do want to note here, I'm not going to include that footage, only because it wasn't lasting very long and I was getting some poor network quality. What I'm going to assume was probably just because the battery was dying. This footage here is about 11 minutes long, which is about the span of the battery. As you notice, I am above ground. You know, there's nothing above me except maybe a few branches and trees. But overall, I'm not kind of like in the parking garage. As you can see here, there is kind of a concrete roof above to the left here, and once we go under, the drone begins to have issues, and this is more due to it's trying to coordinate itself. It uses a few different sensors, and for whatever reason, going underground like this, or quote-unquote underground, causes the drone to lose its balance, and you can even see in the app it'll give you how many different interference points are near it. You can see here it'll do a few donuts, and I'm trying to land it like right here. I have to unfortunately forcefully land it because it's off balance, it's underground, it doesn't know where in the hell it's going. Unfortunately too, due to this, it is in a green, meaning that the drone is still good to fly. It causes so much interference, I end up having to ground the drone and restart it. And then even moving on here, a little bit ahead there, I was once again walking with the drone while I was flying it, and it chose to try and fly up because it was low on power. It wanted to fly home, and it nearly hit a power line. Fortunately, not unfortunately, it did not. I was able to take it home, take it back with me, and we'll switch to that now. Alright, so I'm going to start off here. I'm just going to break down a few things, especially with this drone. I actually really like it, especially. I sent you this cute little carrying bag. It does have a little hidden pocket up here. You can kind of see the zipper. And then in here, they give you a little guide, quick start, manual, all that. This doesn't come with it. They will normally send you a new one of these. This went to the previous drone because this is a replacement. The red one, the second one I had an interesting issue where it would fly around in circles. And this was with no interaction at all. I would fly it up, it would do its thing, and then eventually it would small circles into big circles, and then and I could tell too it wasn't the controller or anything, because this was not pointing where it was supposed to go. So this was looking straight as if it was staying still. However, the drone was doing its circles like it was retarded, I guess. But yeah. And then something I do highly recommend for any drone that you do get is get a secondary GPS tracker. Something that is popular, like a Tile or even an Apple AirTag. Keep it on the drone while you're flying the drone, but keep it away off you, only because it can be used for tracking you. But I like to use the Tile only because I don't use Apple. But yeah, this is coming in handy. I bought it like a year ago. It's still active. It's working pretty well at the moment. and I can still ring my phone with it. Never mind. And then they also send you a replacement kit and a USB charger. I have not opened this yet because I have way too many damn cables, and I already have a replacement kit for it. Once again with my previous drone. And then the controller they send you, which actually is pretty nice as well. I don't like the plastic this is made with. It will break easy, so don't drop it on the concrete. Purple tag is new, but you can get a little kickstand with it. And push this up. And then, let's see. I don't remember what this one does. I know one of these is supposed to control the camera going up and down. However, I don't think it controls it right side to side. I'll have to look in a manual for that. But then you can also kick these up so it can stand on the table and then bring these up for your phone. There's a little app that is compatible with it for your XO Ranger. Shove your phone in here, you connect to the drone's Wi-Fi, you can see your camera stream like what you guys saw here, which I'm actually in the middle of editing. And then you got your little on switch here, you've got GPS on and off, compass calibration, landing right at that zone, or you have your auto land, which is what is automatically triggered as well. When your battery dies, it will fly up like 10-15 feet and then go back to the spot where it originally took off from. High and low speed, which was a little bit shown in the video where I almost ran into the pole. And then record and capture. So yeah, it's a neat little drone. It's not, any cinematographer's drone by any means, but nonetheless, it is a beautiful drone. It is nice. I mean, look at this. Pretty fucking awesome. So if we open it up here, and battery is taken out, it is on the charger at the moment. Opens up just like this, and so you got your antenna here. Would not recommend touching this, you're gonna fuck with things. This is your camera for when you're landing. You can actually switch to this if you want to do guided landing as well. So if you're trying to land on the ground, you can orientate yourself rather than having to use the camera up here, which, if we take this cover off very slightly, you can see here this is a gimbal camera, so this will balance with the drone. As you guys saw, I was flying all around, it stayed flat. This is a bit of a pain in the ass, however, to get back on, and especially don't try and force it. It should be pretty gentle to go in. These are easily replaceable. Takes 2 screws, take it off, shove a new one on. Don't think, yeah. I mean, they're only a tiny bit bent, and I think that's just because we hit the ground a little bit. And for those looking to replace these, they are marked. See here. Yeah, so the bottom of the propellers will say A, and then you'll want to coordinate that with the A on the handle here too. And then there's one last bit I wanted to touch on. Oh yes, your micro SD card slot will go right here too. I don't have one yet for this because my first drone took off with it. Still mad about that because that was my big SD card too. And then your battery, wow, motherboard's really exposed right there. Battery goes right there. So, pretty little drone. It folds up pretty nicely. Let's see here. And yeah, so I mean that's pretty much the basics of it. Your little sensor, avoidance sensor will go right there. And you just shove your drone right back in that bag. Just like so. Zip it up. Just like that. You're ready to go and fly again. So, I will definitely be doing more of this, especially when me and the boys are doing donuts, doing our stupid Jeep shit. And then two, I wanted to touch on this. So I was originally going to make a video on this. I decided against it. And I'm still not sure as to what the hell is going on with this. But this is the XO Blackhawk. I pulled out the wrong arm. This is one of their more cinematographic drones. I think that's the right word. And it was shown to be a really good drone for quite some time. You can see here, we got a Blackhawk right there, and XO's logo. However, for whatever reason, this drone, the first owner of it, it flew straight into his awning. And since then, I replaced a sensor on this to see if it would come back up because the GPS sensor got smashed in. I took the cover off, replaced a not a compass calibration, a gyroscope sensor. I think that's wrong. I replaced a sensor. I don't remember which one at the time. But this, after being replaced, these propellers, by the way, are only used for like 5 minutes. It decided to body slam itself right into the asphalt, not once, but twice. So I'm still looking into this one, and I want to say it is the software on this, because even the original Ranger I had didn't sound like that on startup. So it's what something's telling me that there's a firmware that came out for these drones to fix this, and it wasn't sent over the air, but instead with new manufactured drones. I'm honestly not sure. I can't give you a straight reason because I just don't have that information. It would be nice maybe in the future. I highly doubt it's ever going to happen. It's not anything against EXO. They are a good startup company. I'm seeing good progress out of their drones. But the two big things I'm so far not liking. One, this just goes with anything. Open source or managing your own repairs, kind of in a right to repair field. It would be nice if I could see, different data about the drone, if there was a way to hook into it. See, okay, obviously the parameters of this sensor are way out of proper parameters. So let's, replace the sensor, see what happens. Or all of these sensors are bad, let's see what happens when we replace the motherboard. I know for a while they were sending out replacements of individual parts, so you could actually buy the replacement motherboard for that, not just the entire drone itself. That page is still somewhere cached on Google, although I think that part of the store is shut down, so you can see the parts, you just can't order them. And then the other part to this as well is that these are made in Hong Kong. Nothing against Hong Kong, but it's more the CCP. And the fact that they continue to try and inject all of their Trojans and their software into things. I do like it as a US-based company. Unlike DJI has been known to sell their data, their customers' feeds and everything to the government. But with EXO, it seems like they're pushing a lot more towards the US side, keeping everything encrypted. Although I can't speak to it, we'll have to see what the future holds. But it is something I'm not liking a whole lot, is these drones being manufactured in Hong Kong. Maybe it's something unavoidable, but we'll see. So hopefully data security is definitely a top priority. I know they are just a drone company, but I genuinely think that privacy is everything when it comes down to that. So we'll see what the future holds, and I'll bring you guys a next video here. Probably not upcoming video, but video after, because I got a couple other projects coming your way too. That will probably contain some drone footage. So we'll see what happens. Tally ho, idiots.